What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some of the current data points, break it down on when we can expect Lucid's Q2 numbers, as well as is Lucid a squeeze play. So I'm going to go over all the things that you need to know, but first make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So currently it is up 1.52%, already the high of 271, low of 265. 789,000 shares have been traded within the first 15 minutes of the trading day. 18.4 is the average. So today is going to be a relatively high volume day based off of this. There's a lot of optimism in the broader market right now, especially in the EV sector, because of Tesla. And Tesla did unveil their Q2 numbers, and it looks like they did produce 411,000 vehicles and delivered 444,000. So a little bit higher than Wall Street's expectations. So yeah, this is very good for the EV market. Shows that there is a good level of demand out there. Tesla is up 5.38%. Polestar is also up 5.92%. They definitely need to get above $1, but they did also unveil their numbers. So Q1, they did 7,200 vehicles, so rather low. And then aside from that, 13,000 vehicles in Q2. So a little bit more of an increase, but I think it's not necessarily there. So Polestar might come very, very close, but a lot of people want to know, when will Lucid unveil their earnings? Or I guess more specifically, their numbers, Q2 numbers. Historically, Lucid is very calculated. So we can kind of look back at July of last year and see when they did it. So it looks like July the 12th. So July the 12th this time around is not this Friday, the following one. So most likely it is fair to assume that it is going to be coming out next week. Comparing it to the last two quarters though, they've done it a few days ahead of their previous. So in my opinion, pretty much Tuesday or Wednesday next week might be a very good date for them to unveil their numbers, and some expectations on at least the minimum. I think that at least 2,100 vehicles delivered is a absolute must. These are the numbers that they did in Q1. So they produced 1,700 vehicles, delivered 1,900 vehicles. So this is the very first quarter that they ever did hit that milestone of more deliveries than produced, showing a reduction in inventory. So I think this is good. Hopefully they do continue this good momentum, but again, I do feel it needs to be at least a bare minimum of 2,100. But even aside from that though, I think it's going to be what Lucid talks about during their earnings about the Gravity. That is going to weigh more on the stock price rather than deliveries and production. My own opinion, of course, because I think when it comes down to the Air, yeah, they're good, amazing vehicles, but Lucid's even previously stated many times that the Gravity is going to be their moneymaker. And then come late 2026, that lower priced mid-size SUV, that's going to take them to a profitability. So I think it's all relative, but most likely it is going to come out 1 week from now. So either sometime next week, in my opinion. So that's something just to kind of keep in mind. But aside from that, there's been no additional news, no SEC filings, nothing like that. Shorts, though, are returning around 96,000 shares. 28.9% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 255.95 million shares overall are being shorted. Utilization 96.33, and then cost to borrow average did have a very nice jump up, and that is 37.18%. A lot of YouTubers and a lot of articles are coming out saying that Lucid is a squeeze play. And for those of you that do kind of watch a lot of my other videos, Lucid has been always stock number one on the most heavily shorted EVs, and that's usually by this number right here, so the short interest percentage. And under my other channel, Trending Stocks, I've done kind of lists similar fashion for the broader market, but based on the short score. And in some cases, Lucid's actually been the fifth most heavily shorted EV, or sorry, not just EV, but like stock in general in the market. So if Lucid next week comes out with their numbers, and let's say they do surprise everyone with phenomenal numbers, then I do feel that we could have a squeeze associated to that. That's just my own opinion. Obviously, you guys do whatever the hell floats your boat and stuff like that. Just, I think right now Lucid is a very unique circumstance that the standards are just so low for it and expectations are so low that any beat is going to be a very positive surprise. And that's one thing that you really do need in a squeeze play. You need a catalyst and you need shorts to be taken off guard and surprised. So again, that's something to kind of consider. But as of right now, looking at options, 31,000 in calls, 5,900 in puts. Sentiment wise, 49% of all the options being done so far today are were bearish, as you can kind of see right there. Looking at the open interest though, you do see not really much activity. So this is looking at the calls for the open interest for this upcoming expiry date of July the 5th. There's a wall, so 9,000 in open interest at 3, but not really much really happening. If anything, it's more so around August and September. That's where a lot of people are gravitating towards, and they do feel that it could be anywhere from around 3 to maybe about $4.50. $5, so it could be all over the place. As of right now, you do see, looks like 3 transactions on the secondary market above $100,000, and all of them were buys. You can tell that based on the bid, the ask, and the selling price. And I did say in previous videos that you were going to see kind of less and less buyers or institutional buyers getting in, especially last week was the last week in Q2. So that was a very popular week for them to rebalance and do what they needed to do. But I was definitely wrong. There was a lot of transactions that was done yesterday, as you can kind of see. So 10.4 million, a lot of big transactions. So I was surprisingly wrong when it comes down to that, and big money is still looking at Lucid despite us being essentially in Q3. So on a side note, welcome to Q3 everyone. It's been so far a fun ride, but I think based on even Lucid's technicals, it does show that it wants to break out. So with it right now at $2.70, it is right above this pivot point. So $2.69 is the strong support that you want to watch for it to hold. On the flip side, $2.89 is a very strong resistance / target that you want to see for Lucid to hit next. So I think Lucid is gaining more and more momentum and somewhat justified, right? So I think Lucid is a very interesting play. Whether right now is a good time to buy or not, that's up to you guys. You guys do whatever floats your boat. But I really do feel that, especially with their Q2 numbers, the bar is so low that they could easily hit and cause it to go up based on that. But on the actual chart itself, it is flirting with that 50-day moving average, and once it does get above that, then it'll quickly spike up as what it typically does. But on stochastic, you do see a bullish deviation, a white line above the red, as well it is at 61, so somewhat neutral. If it does continue on the same trajectory, then it is going to be considered somewhat overbought, but we'll kind of get to that bridge once we pass it, or get to it, or whatever you want to call it. Number of retail investors are getting in ever since it looks like the 25th. So all in all, a lot of bullish signals, and the EV sector is looking like it's somewhat bottomed. And as I've said in previous videos, that whole Rivian deal with Volkswagen, that is a very clear sign that potentially we are at a bottom. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. One final thing, take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for a new account, throw $100 at it, and they give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. Take advantage of that. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.